I just started a brand new 100K prop firm challenge, but it is not going well. I say it all the time on this channel that it is so important to start your challenge with a win. That's all about quality over quantity, but I clearly need to do a better job of practicing what I preach because I made a mistake, potentially a deadly mistake on this brand new challenge. But I am honestly so sick and tired of all the influencers online that hide their losses, that make you think that trading is easy. There's a very good chance that I won't pass this challenge, but I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing, my entire thought process, and hopefully the exact same strategy and system that helped me pass 7 100K challenges. Hopefully, it will allow me to turn things around. So, first things first, the market is looking really, really ugly. There's a ton going on, and this isn't just about me passing my challenge, it's about you passing your challenge and you becoming a better trader. So, hopefully, I can help you better understand what's going on. So, right now, the stock market is dropping quite a bit. The S&P 500 is down 1.28%. The NASDAQ 1.28% as well. If we scroll through, Coinbase is up a little bit. The Nikkei dropped almost 1%. Oil 1% to the upside, and VFV here 0.67%. But what's really interesting is that Bitcoin is actually rallying. Bitcoin is up almost 2%, and we initially had a sell-off here before moving to the upside. And stick around because I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes the trade that I took, which was maybe a mistake that I probably shouldn't have taken. But first, we need to understand why the market is going crazy. Labor Day is over, the market's back, we're live, and it is not happy. So let's jump over here, and it's important that we understand what's actually going on. So Treasury yields jump on prospect of US having to refund tariff money. 30-year yield tops 4.97%. Now, I understand often as a trader, if you see bond yields, you just start to get super bored, super tired. You want to go take a nap and not pay attention. But this stuff is really important to understand because clearly it is moving the market. And we saw this coming because last Friday or Saturday, news about these tariffs first started to come out. So Treasury yields jumped on Tuesday to begin September trading as a court decision knocking down most of the Trump administration's tariffs raised the prospect of the government having to repay the money already brought in. Now, the US is already so massively indebted, just adding more debt on top of it is obviously going to be a problem. The 10-year Treasury yield jumped to 4.275%. Now, remember, the government is keeping a very close eye, investors as well, obviously, are keeping a very close eye on Treasury yields because as those yields rise, when the government has to refinance their debt, their massive debt, it's going to cost them even more money in interest payments. And people like Balaji Srinivasan, Ray Dalio, they've been very outspoken about the looming debt crisis. And as this continues, as this gets worse, things could happen. If we look at the dollar index, surprisingly, it had a little bit of a rally, but now we're selling off. Moving forward, rates were jumping. US President Donald Trump's tariffs are in focus after a federal court's appeal said that the global tariffs are illegal. Trump said that this is highly partisan and that they're going to be bringing it to the Supreme Court. Trump's tariffs had initially raised worries about inflation, driving yields higher. The market's view changed over the summer with bond investors heartened by the revenue raised from the duties. Now, all of this might be reversed. So what you ultimately need to know is that this just throws a massive wave of uncertainty across the market. The reason that the market dropped so much back in April is because there was so much uncertainty. It was an amazing buying opportunity. I bought the dip. I was quite outspoken about buying the dip. And this, again, just raises more uncertainty, and the market doesn't like uncertainty. So let's now bring it back to my challenge because I'm looking for trade setups. But first, we need to see, well, where did I go wrong? Here we are on CTrader, and you can see here that unfortunately, my 100K account is no longer a 100K account. I'm down to $99,200. So it was a 0.8% loss. So what actually happened here? Well, you could see that I had a trade that triggered overnight a 3-lot buy on pound yen right around here. The trade setup was a 38 fib, it was several moving averages, and it was a support level. If we go on to the 15-minute chart, we can see that There were a couple of mistakes. One was that there was British news that took place overnight when I was sleeping, so I wasn't able to monitor the situation. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two is if I was watching this live, you could see, I've spoken about this on this channel many times, the move took place before I got triggered. So I got triggered down here, but before I got triggered, the move already took place of 27 pips. And when you're trading these zones of high confluence, when you're trying to get those sniper entries, it's probably one of the most frustrating things that happens, where the market comes super close to your pending order, doesn't trigger you, and then does the move. And it's tempting to keep your pending order, but the move already took place. And so here you could see that it just missed my pending order by 4 or 5 pips. It did the move 27, 30 pips. And I would have then closed the trade. It would have been a take profit, but that's not what happened. And it came back down, triggered my trade, triggered my stop loss, moved back up another 40 pips, but I was already out of the trade at that point. So ultimately, the trade setup was solid. The confluences were there. There was good reason to take a trade, but the execution was off, unfortunately, because of this. And that's also sort of what happens sometimes when you're trading overnight. So that's what happened with pound yen. But you can see if we scroll through the yen crosses, huge sell-off here. Pound CAD, another really large drop. The reason for it is this guy over here. So overnight, investor anxiety increased as Britain's 30-year gilt, so again, bond yields, everyone around the world is paying attention to these bonds, surged to the highest level since 1998, reflecting worries about the government's ability to manage its growing debt, very similar to the US, and potential fiscal slippage ahead of the upcoming autumn budget. There's broad speculation that tax increases may be announced to address the rising deficit. And we all know higher taxes, it's like Canada, it's a disaster. Consumer sentiment is going to drop. It's just a whole host of negative ripple effects take place. So did I make a mistake in taking this trade on pound yen? No, I don't think so, but the execution could have been better. And because I'm on a one-step challenge where the max drawdown is only 6%, I think maybe I should have started with a 0.5% risk. So I'm going to have to tighten things up, going to have to get a little bit more focused. Moving forward, what do I plan to do? Where do the opportunities lie? Let's scroll through some of the charts and see what I'm looking at. Pound CAD. We had this really nice drop, and now we're starting to get a retracement. You can see here that I already have an alert set, which almost got triggered, but not quite. Here we have the 38, followed by this nice support turn resistance, and this 800 moving average. So this could be a nice trade. But the downside is that, again, we came really close to triggering that area, and we've already moved away. So you could see we came within 5 pips, and we've already moved 25. So unfortunately, I think this trade is already null and void. But if we go back to the higher time frame, 1 hour, I think this 61 will be a fantastic trade if we get a retracement that deep. So I'm going to set an alert there, and we're going to look for that sell. So that's what we're looking at on pound CAD. Gold has made history, a fresh record at 35.12. Gold has perked above the Asian high of 35.08. The close today is important as gold has been consolidating for months below 3,500. There is plenty to like on the fundamental side as Trump undermines the US dollar by stacking the Fed and creates uncertainty by sacking the head of the BLS. Seasonally, gold does poorly traditionally in September, so that's a headwind. So a couple of things to keep in mind. And again, that's why it's so important to read the news to understand what's going on, because now if you want to take a buy, well, you should understand that seasonality, not great for gold. That doesn't mean you can't take it, but these are just more confluences to have in your trade. So you can see here, gold, we've been waiting for that pullback. I drew the fib last night. We now need to extend it once again. And there's really no trade to take until we have some sort of pullback. Pound yen, which broke our heart. We obviously need to refresh this chart quite a bit. Fib is no longer valid. These buy zones are no longer valid. So we're going to clean this up, and now we're going to look to see where the next opportunity lies. We've had a deep retracement from here. We've, rejected now 4 times this 200 resistance level, 200 obviously being such a strong psychological level. On the daily chart, is there anything? We can now be looking for some sort of buy on a deeper retracement. If we have this guy here, we've already tested the 38, so I'd want something a little bit further down, maybe the 61, maybe the 50, see where the other moving averages are. Nothing really screaming out just yet. So nothing too interesting on pound yen. Let's just check the 1 hour. If we have a little bit more of a drop to the downside here, we could then look for a retracement back up to these moving averages for a sell. Okay. Bitcoin is also acting very, very funny, very interesting. We had an initial sell-off, and now we've had a nice rally all the way back up to 111,500. So I don't trade Bitcoin a ton, but again, we could extend this fib and we could look for some sort of buy, some sort of retracement on this guy here, the 38. Pound New Zealand, I put this last night. There was a very interesting trade that we could have taken, but I didn't, and it worked out absolutely perfectly. So it's the 61 fib. We've got trendline third touch, got the 800 EMA, 61 fib, support level, resistance level. So this was a really, really nice trade to take. I should have taken it instead of the pound yen trade, but you live and you learn. And I just I don't think I expected it to hit that quickly. So moving ahead on pound New Zealand, I don't think there's anything that's screaming just yet. These purple moving averages are the 800, so they're really strong. So as it drops further, if it drops further, we could look for some sort of buy. Aussie yen, this is the 1 hour chart. Again, nothing that exciting. So this is really going to be about quality over quantity moving forward to try and get this account back up to break even at the bare minimum. So lots of work to do. Good lesson learned there on pound yen. Again, I have nothing to hide. I just, hopefully by sharing this process, how I approach things, you guys can learn a thing or two and hopefully get one step closer to passing your own prop firm challenge. Speaking of which, if you are looking to sign up for a prop firm challenge, I've been running Lark Funding for over 3 years now. No consistency rules, no news restrictions, no hidden rules, none of that nonsense. And we would love to have you. So you can sign up for a prop firm challenge down below. But if you would like some free value, Pip Munch, it is a daily free email newsletter for traders. So over 25,000 traders get it every single morning directly in their inbox for completely free. And it goes over a lot of this stuff of how I view the market, how you can use fundamental analysis to deepen your knowledge of the market. So you can subscribe to that down below. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with some good news, but you never know, maybe there'll be some more bad news. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.